anywhere else you're watching this, this is Teen Talk NEWARK. Today, we will be talking about racism. I'm your host, Makai. This is Alize. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
All right. Now, in all seriousness, racism is a very serious topic. So let's just come straight out with it. What is racism?
In my opinion, racism is antagonism directed to someone of a different race.
All right. Now, do you feel as though racism is solely based on basically one group of people more than another? How do you say, like, say it's mostly focused on black people or is mostly focused on Spanish people?
No, not at all. I don't think that.
All right. Well, racism today in America is basically nothing new. It's happening every single day. And in my opinion, I think that it's never going to go away. How do you feel?
I think the same. I totally agree with you.
Because there are many people here. Basically, racism has been happening for so long that I feel as though it's been passed down and people have basically their own opinion on things where I don't like black people or Spanish people. And even and it's not just one group of people who's doing it. Even white people are racist, black people are racist, Spanish people are racist. Anybody can be racist, put it like that. However, it is not a good thing, and I do wish that it would change in the coming years because, how do you say, it's just, we're in a new generation, and it's come to the point where we grow up with different colors. We grow up with different colors, and people should not be judged solely on their skin color. With that being said, what should people be judged on?
Basically, their personality, like their personalities, basically, I would say.
Have you ever been affected by racism?
Yes, multiple times. Well,
tell a story.
All right, when I was in at least the 3rd grade, I would say, this boy, I wanted to be his friend. And he said he didn't like black people.
What color was he?
He was white.
White. And what happened?
It hurt my feelings. It made me cry, and it made me feel like I really wanted to change my skin color, even though that's almost impossible.
And what age were you at the time?
I was about 8 or 9, 9 or 10.
So that just shows that racism happens at any age.
Yes.
My story, this just happened like maybe a couple weeks ago. I was getting in a cab, and at the time, I had $10 in my pocket to get home. But I had pulled out a 5 and couldn't find the other 5. I forgot where I put it. So this has never happened to any of my friends, mind you. Many of my friends are indeed Spanish and white. And I'm not gonna name the cab company, but when I called them, they basically said that if I didn't pay on the spot, put it like this, get the hell out of my cab. And this has happened multiple times to me. And they said it's a new policy, but it has never happened to any other of my friends who are different races from me.
Yeah, I never experienced something like that.
So basically, it goes to show that, you know, maybe it is just me, you know, coming from my mind, but I feel as though it was a very racist thing to do because, hey, at the end of the day, I'm a kid. You can worry about me getting home. Lock the doors, take my phone, do something. Hey, but I'm not going to run away from you because of my skin color. I'm not going to do that. Don't assume things like that. So, yeah, so that was a very tough time. Racism is, how do I say, a very disgusting thing to do for people because at a young age, maybe about like 4 or 5, kids don't, if you were to put a kid in a room, they would not be like, oh, he's a different color than me, stay away from me. You know, that's not what happens. And I feel as though that the older you get, you're influenced by the people around you, and it should be able to stop in the coming years. But that has been the segment of racism. We're going to move on. Thank you for watching.
Team Talk Newark. My name is Brian. My guest here, Lizette, and we're moving on to the next topic, which is unsupported families. How do you feel about it?
I think that's horrible, to be honest, because, like, when a family has a kid, the first thing they're expected to do is support them through everything, and if they don't do that, then, you know, it just messes with the child, and they don't believe in themselves, they don't accomplish certain things because of what's happened throughout the years.
Have you gone through anything similar?
Yes, definitely. When I was younger, my mom used to work a lot, and my dad was never really around, so I had to kind of, you know, just be there with my brother and my sister, so I didn't really get any support or any attention or anything, but...
When you talk about support, are you mainly talking about, like, your ambitions and goals, or just, like...
Everything. They didn't, like, to be honest, my dad didn't think I was going to be anything in life, that I wasn't going to graduate high school or go to college. And my mom, like, worked all the time, so she just hoped that I would, you know, graduate high school.
And that played a big role in your mentality, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I've seen that a lot, especially when it comes to sports. You know, I see kids that have their whole families in stands, and they get that moral support on top of that financially. Me, when I was wrestling, I used to see that a lot. I had nobody in the stands. It was just my team, my coach, and my opponent had his whole generation up there. So it was like, it's different, you know, and it plays a role in your mind. But it's good though. You know, it motivated me to do better and shock the world, and that's what I plan to do. And another question for you is, when you have kids, how are you supporting them?
I'm gonna support them the best way I can. Like, if they come up to me saying, you know, Mom, I don't think I could do this, or I don't think I should do this, then I'm gonna try my best to convince them, like, you can do it. You could do anything you put your mind to.
Yeah. When your kid's doing something, is it more about financially, like you can't support them because you don't have money, or is it that you can't support them because you just don't care?
To be honest, I think for most families, I would say it's because they don't care. Because I believe, like, if they really supported them, then they would find some kind of way to, like, bring up the money.
Right.
But if they didn't, then...
Yeah, I felt that a lot throughout high school. So this has been our topic on unsupported families. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, team. I got a new guest here. Shade, tell us about yourself.
My name is Shade, and I'm coming at you from my YouTube channel. Later, if you guys want to check it out, there shall be a link in the description. But now we're going to be talking about a subject that Brian was already on earlier. It's called unsupported families. Now, Brian, I believe you have some questions for me.
Yeah. How do you feel about it?
How I feel about unsupported families is it's not something that people think happens common, but it's surprisingly everywhere. Not in big ways as you would see on the news, but in little small ways. Maybe a little discussion that somebody didn't support somebody from a team, or they don't show up as often as they need to. But I feel like, especially in Newark, it happens quite often when you have somebody who doesn't show up a lot or isn't there for you in their life. And I feel like that can be a very big problem when somebody's trying to grow up and find their place in the world. You can easily lead them down a bad path.
Yeah. Has it happened to you?
To be honest, yes, speaking frankly, it has happened to me. I won't share any details because, you know, but at the same time, I can honestly say that unsupported families has played a big part of my life. But at the same time, I can also say that it's kind of molded me into the person where I don't want to see that happen to somebody else. And it's nothing good. It really isn't. If it gets to a certain degree where it's serious, and then it can easily make wanting to come back to your family painful experience. And that's nothing any child or teen should ever go through.
How does that make you feel? Like, does that motivate you to do better for yourself, or?
To be honest, it does motivate me to be better for myself. Mainly because of the simple fact that I want to prove everybody in my family who didn't support me, to prove them wrong. Say, hey, you didn't support me, so guess what? I have to support you later in life.
Yeah, I feel you. Do you think that kids that haven't had support from their families do the same thing to their kids?
It is a possibility, but I like to think that people realize the mistake of their parents, and they don't always repeat them. But it is a very good possibility that kids who don't know any other way to raise their children will revert to how their parents raised them. And sometimes, depending on how the parent raised them, that's not always a good thing.
So, when you have your kids, how you gonna support them in a different?
Oh, definitely. I'm going to support them for as long as I can, no matter what. But at the same time, I'm not going to cradle them. Because people don't understand. There's a difference between being supportive and being swaddling. Being supportive on one hand, that's where you try your best to help them out. If they need an extra connection or a little bit of cash to get through something that they're doing, you help provide it for them. But you don't do everything for them like you would if you were swaddling them, trying to protect them from all the stuff that's going on in the world. Yeah. That's two different concepts, and to be honest, it gets confused very often. But me personally speaking, I would definitely support my children because that's always been on my mind. But I would also look at myself to make sure that I'm not swaddling them too much, because if I throw them out into the world without them really knowing how it works, it's more often going to do more hurt. It's more often going to do more hurt than good.
Yeah, that was great. I'd love to have you here. Do it sometime again. And this has been Team Talk NEWARK on unsupported families and racism. I hope you enjoyed, and be ready here for next week, next episode. Subscribe, leave a comment, like. You already know.
See ya.